Hey Battlefield YouTube community, the Battlefield Hardline beta has ended. And while it's ended and I've put in some time into this game, I want to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about this. And I know I've kind of already talked about a little bit, I think the game's fun or if it's bad or not. But I want to talk about what I really liked and what I really didn't like here. And before I continue, spoiler, I only die once. And what kills me? Oh my god. Well, you'll see. I don't want to spoil that part of it. It's oh man. Well, let's start out positive and talk about what I did like. First of all, and I've really wanted this for a long time, you're able to get ammo from other players. The Enforcer, as it's called here, it's not the support anymore. Remember, people, you can get ammo from by just going up to them and holding a button. Oh, that's so nice. And the same thing on health from the operator class. You can go up and get health from them without, screaming forever. I need ammo or I need, help. You just walk up to them and you can get it. That is so freaking nice. I don't know why it has not been in the last couple of games. It's been asked for quite a while. Now, next up is a round start timer. Well, this is obvious. I can't say I haven't taken advantage of having an SSD and getting into a game before everybody else, and especially like a rush game mode where I can get in and take out the first MCOM or two before anybody is spawned in. That is very nice, but at the same time it's incredibly unfair, and in things like heist or blood money here, it just would be wrong to have it like that anymore, and I'm glad they have fixed that. And it's such a simple fix. You have to wait till at least 6 people in each team hit ready. Extremely simple fix, but very effective. And the next thing I did enjoy, guns actually do damage to vehicles. Not the heavy vehicles, but say like another cop car or something else lightly armored. And I think the guns almost do a little too much damage, because this AKM could just destroy a police car fairly quickly. But at the same time, it's nice having some kind of defense against people just trying to run you over if you don't have a weapon to take them out that's high explosive. And while we're talking about vehicles, I really did enjoy how the vehicles felt. They all felt just about right. They're not realistic per se, but they are they kind of you know what, they're kind of a little arcadey. They're not very realistic at all, but at the same time they're realistic enough that they would actually play in this universe of the cops needing to steal money back from criminals. And typically if I got hung up on something, is because I legitimately got hung up on something very solid. And I know in the Battlefield 3 and 4, it's often I'm trying to drive something and I get caught on the most ridiculous crap. And now for something Battlefield is sorely needed for quite a while, the beta is actually a beta. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 released, how do I do parentheses with my hands that you can't see? A beta that came out a month before the game shipped, or not even quite a month before the game shipped. And it was basically a demo, a glorified demo. It wasn't really a beta at all. And during those beta periods, all the suggestions were basically ignored, or maybe not so much ignored, or just not used, because they didn't have time, because they're trying to iron out the other bugs that were major in the game. And of course, as we all know, quite a few of those bugs made it through. And it's really only been fairly recently that they've actually been listening to the community quite a bit more than they ever have before. The new triage system in Battlefield 4, where you can actually see how long you have to revive somebody, I remember reading about that back in the Battlefield 3 days, and they're finally getting to it halfway through the life of Battlefield 4. And that was an amazing idea. I absolutely love it. And if you don't know what it is, you have this little circle around their revive symbol, and it tells you how long you have before they can respawn in. And it's a great thing, and I wish the game would have had that for quite a while now, and they're only just implementing this. And at this point, Battlefield Hardline doesn't actually have this yet, and hopefully it's added, because it is a great addition to the game. And lastly, teamwork actually pays off. You work as a team, especially if you're down and the other team has quite a bit more cash than you and blood money. If you work as a team, run in there with multiple different people, it's quite easy to screw them over and take all their money. And working as a team, just take money from the center there, works much better if you have multiple of you are running in there, or you have your whole squad watching each other's backs. And you really do need to play together, or you're definitely not going to win a match. And yeah, this guy, oh yeah, look at him. Oh, at least he was nice enough to take my cash and return it to the vault. Yeah. Thanks, guy. And now let's get to the things I really didn't like about the beta. First of all, the self-revive. I really hated this. I hated double-checking everything I just killed, or trying to see if the guy was laying in a position where it looked like he was going to get back up. And I don't know how many times there would be multiple targets. I'd shoot one or two and turn to another one just to get shot in the back from a guy that I already dropped. That's quite annoying. It should not be in the game. It's a little too good. It's a bit broken, and I really wish they would take this out. The second thing I hated about this beta is roof camping. I just came down from the roof. It's pretty common to see multiple people up there hanging out, shooting down on you. I know it might not exist in many other maps, because this is just one particular example of, I'm going to guess, what, 8 to 10 maps that'll come out in the game. But it's very annoying, and all these high buildings up there, there's always a couple of snipers on it, not really helping you doing much for your team. But that can be said for many other Battlefield games and maps, and I'm not exactly sure how they would go about fixing that. Next up, I think the heist game mode was extremely confusing most of the time. It's hard to figure out who has the loot that you're trying to grab, where they're going, what's going on. I know I've heard they're trying to work on making this a little simpler and a little easier to understand and figure out where you need to go, but I really didn't like how it was set up. So for the most part, I stuck to Blood Money, which is, great mode. I did have a lot of fun doing it. I do think the vault size needs to be a little bit larger. 5 million is not that much. If you get a group of people running there, especially with a nice vehicle, you could quite easily capture 5 million in literally a minute or two if you have a team working together, and the rounds are a little too fast that way. Next up, the destruction is very poor, at least in this map. I have heard in some of the other maps from players that have gotten to play them, it's much more destructive and it's much less vehicular oriented, and that would be nice. I heard it wasn't Bad Company 2, destructibility, but I want to see a little bit more. And from there, the armored vehicles are a little too strong. I really wish they would get toned down a bit, because they're quite easy to go around and dominate everything, and the only threat you have is the other armored vehicle. And my last minor gripe is I wish you could run faster with the bat or knife out. I know that's a little Counter-Strike-ish, but I really do like that mechanic, and it doesn't make sense to be able to move a little faster with a bat in your hand instead of a gun. If you enjoyed my video or appreciated my opinion, please hit that like button, and also please subscribe if you haven't already. And what you guys think about it? What you like, what you didn't like? I know a few of you are sour that the game's only coming out 1 year later, and I definitely like to read all your comments that you give me. And thanks for all your support, guys. It really does mean a lot to me.